Hi, and welcome to the show. I am glad you're here because today you're going to hear from a phenomenal young woman in celebration of Black Poetry Day. She is a Special Olympic athlete, author, and has many talents which defy her diagnosed cognitive and physical disabilities. Before we hear from our special guest, I invite you, as always, to join me in a 1 minute, about 1 minute, centering exercise to focus our minds and prepare to be present during this time. This show and each episode, um, I demonstrate a technique to calm your mind and body and spirit. And so today, we're going to access our heart's intelligence to promote a sense of relaxation. And we do it by using our breath while focusing on our heart. And this technique is from the heart math um, practices, which, if you've been with me before, you know that I do and guide you through heart math focused breathing. Well, this technique from heart math is called quick coherence technique. So I'll guide you to use your breath and engage in a positive renewing feeling like appreciation to replace any depleting feelings you may be experiencing right now, such as worry or any other feeling that might take away instead of add to you. And so let's try it together. Okay? Give it a try. I'm going to ask you to lower your gaze or close your eyes. And you close your eyes so that you can focus, enhance your focus on your heart and your breathing. So let's begin. And when you breathe in through your nose slowly. And when you breathe out through your mouth slowly. So let's begin by focusing our attention on our heart, which is in the left side of your chest. And as you breathe in through your nose, imagine the air flowing into your heart and making it bigger. Okay? Slowly. And then when you breathe out, imagine the air blowing out of your heart through your mouth. Okay? And so I suggest that you count like a count of 4 or 5 when you inhale and exhale about 4 or 5. So let's do it. And then I'll take you into the next step. So we're going to take a couple of breaths, just these heart focused breaths. So breathe in through your nose, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And imagine your heart getting bigger. And then now breathe out through your mouth and imagine your heart just exhaling. So you're breathing out through your mouth, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Do it again. In 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Your heart's getting bigger. And then out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. And now, as you take the next breath in, your heart's going to get bigger. And now I would like you to get this feeling, this regenerative feeling, re experience a feeling that you have for someone you love. It could be a pet, a special place, an accomplishment, or just focus on a feeling of being calm or at ease. So here we go. You're going to breathe in through your nose, your heart gets bigger, and put that feeling of love, a pet, a special person, a special place in your heart, and then breathe out through your mouth. Let's try it again. So breathe in through your nose and put that feeling in there. Imagine that. Get an image of that person, place, thing, your accomplishment. Deposit it in your heart and now breathe out through your mouth. And try it on your own, okay? So And I'm going to share with you that even a sincere attempt to feel a positive emotion will reduce the strain and drain and replenish your system. Okay, so you're ending your exhale now. And then I'd like you to take a nice deep regular breath in to notice where you are and breathe out. Take another nice deep breath in, big, big, big. And as you breathe out, I'd like you to sense how your body feels. And the last breath, going to take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to enter this session. Nice work. Okay. I hope that that's brought about a sense of at least balance and ease. And try it on your own. Okay. All right. So, for those of you who've just joined us, I am Dr. Paulina Van, the author of Regala Healing, a book of 100 healing poems, and the host of this show, The Poetry of Healing. And we've just completed a centering activity, a heart math technique. And if you practice it on a regular basis, it can help you to remain calm and balanced in stressful situations. It's almost like being prayed up, okay? So, you are just in time to meet my special guest, who is an Olympic athlete, a Special Olympic athlete, and a poet. And she's going to read, and we're going to discuss a few of her poems. And her backstory will inspire and even warm your heart. So I'm going to bring Amanda in right now. Here we go. Amanda, welcome to the Poetry of Healing. It's so good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. I am excited. I feel rejuvenated from the exercise and I'm just ready to go and I just feel all warm and just thank thankful to be here.
Well, you know what? I will say this before you even read one word of your poem. I believe our viewers are going to be blessed, inspired, invigorated with the words that have come from you. So before we begin, I invite you to tell the audience, and you are so humble, Amanda, but I want you to be comfortable with what you say to the audience. So if you can just share with the audience anything about you personally or professionally or anything you want to share that will help connect with you.
Sure. I think really what's important to share with the audience is that we come from all different walks of life and never let your circumstances guide who you are capable of becoming. If I allowed that to dictate my life, all of my disabilities with autism and hydrocephalus and retinopathy of prematurity, I wouldn't be, where I am today. So I really just honestly thank. It started really with my great grandmother who taught us the value of prayer, and my grandmother continued it, and then my mother instilled it in me. So um, it's really important to find something that you believe in, something that centers you, and something that gives you just drive and determination throughout life's struggles because we all face them.
Well, see, audience, I told you that she was humble. So Amanda is an author. She is a Special Olympic athlete, and she is a life coach. And I'm sure there's much more that I haven't learned about her yet. So, would you tell us a little bit about um, your experience of being a Special Olympic athlete?
Sure.
Mhm.
I joined the Special Olympics in 2018, so it was like fall of 2018. And the second I got there, I actually just wanted to turn around to go home because I signed up for two sports, one of them being bowling, the other one being bocce ball.
Oh,
And I figured oh, this is going to be really easy. You don't even really have to be good at this stuff.
Mhm.
Well, I found myself being really, really frustrated, having low vision. It's really difficult to knock down some pins, and
Mhm.
um, it was really frustrating. And a couple seasons into it, I was like, "Mom, Dad, I just want to quit." So I attend my tournament, and there's a woman there, and next thing you know, my name is kind of being passed around the bowling alley, and I am recommended for what is known as athlete leadership. Every Special
Mhm.
Olympics program should pretty much have an athlete leadership program, which allows athletes to speak, to be part of events, get published in newspapers. It really just depends on, like, the program that you're in. When I found that program, which I didn't want to do, by the way, it was one of the last things I wanted to do. I was like, I don't want to be part of this. I don't even want to be here. But it absolutely changed my life. It has gotten me so much recognition to speak absolutely everywhere. And it has given me a sense of respect, not only among my peers, but among individuals who knew nothing about those with intellectual disabilities. In fact, you have a lot of people who hear me speak and they don't even know that I have an intellectual disability, let alone, as part of this, organization, Special Olympics. And you have a lot of people who just say that the Special Olympics is, oh, well, it's just for people with Down syndrome or severe cerebral palsy, which is not true. It's for anybody. It's for families, it's for caregivers. Anybody can be part of the Special Olympics, really.
Mhm. Well, I am just amazed every time I speak with you. I learn something else. But for our viewers, I just would like to summarize your disabilities. And please, please, if I say something inaccurately, please correct it.
Of course.
But as you have shared with us so far, that you have an intellectual disability, you also are legally blind, and would the autism diagnosis go under an intellectual disability, or is that
Yes.
a cognitive disability? Mhm.
I believe it goes under an intellectual disability. Yes.
All right, all right. So, given that backdrop, you are a published author, you are a renowned speaker, and you have created this beautiful poetry. And I'm gonna, before I ask you to read, because that's what the viewers really want to hear, but I wanted to give a sense of who you are and how you are in the world. I'm going to read a quote from your website, and viewers, I'm going to drop it in the chat after the show is done. And it reads, your words. I discovered the power of poetry in 2016 after being diagnosed with autism. It allows me to dance with life. I believe poetry has healing properties. It's that's just amazing. And that's what I'd like to do now is just ask you to read Rising.
Sure.
Okay. And if you want to tell us a little bit about how you began writing poetry, that would be great.
Of course. Sure. I began writing poetry shortly after a diagnosis of autism. I was 26 and was really at a loss of words because prior to my own diagnosis, I've just heard of the negativity for folks with autism. And I said, okay, God, what do I do now? I have this condition, and so far, when you look at it on, social media, when you look at it on television, they don't say anything positive.
Mm.
about this condition. In fact, it's negative. It's people with behavioral problems. It's, people having conflicts with law enforcement. It's not good. And I was like, God, why? Um, so shortly after that, that's when I began writing because I wanted to figure it out. But anywho, here is my poem called Rising. Rising. Rising in love and truth. That is what I must do. I must be strong in who I am and learn to withstand those who say, no, you can't. Rising like the tallest mountain surpasses the deepest sea. I must enter into my own state of being and walk my own trail. The road is full of bumpy obstacles. They are in my way, but you know what I say? Just like the phoenix, I rise. I am reborn, and I am made new. Every hardship I face is a test of my strength. I can test the limits. I can know what is man made. I refuse to break. I will rise, although I am damaged. I will rise, although I am torn. I will rise because I am hurting. I will rise to claim what I came here for. I have risen in strength, love, and truth. These are the reasons that I have become who I am. This is my call. Thank you.
Oh my. Let's just reflect on that. As you were reading, my heart kept getting bigger and bigger because I felt so inspired. What is the core message for you in that
Just to continue to rise in the face of obstacles. And I think many of us, you just don't have to be disabled. Anything can really be an obstacle in our lives. And we learn to rise from adversity if we are, in fact, strong enough. And we hope that many of us are strong enough to rise from the things that the world claims will break us and make us into lesser individuals.
So, my question to you is what gives you your strength to rise? So, you talked about your family and how they have cultivated values in you. You inferred your faith is also something that gives you strength. Is there anything else?
I think for me that my faith is key. My practice in God is key
Mm,
because for me,
mm,
I couldn't see any way to deal with many of life's obstacles. My mom had a quote that she would tell my sister and I as
mm,
children.
mhm,
She would say that prayer changes things. And I promise you, Dr. Pauline, that I am witness to that being true as recent as up to a few hours ago. I wasn't feeling well this morning. I didn't want to go to my practice, so I prayed about it. And I ended up doing phenomenally well in spite of not feeling well. So prayer
mhm,
truly, honestly, changes things. If you give God the opportunity to enter your soul, your
mhm,
heart,
mhm,
and your mindset.
mhm, mhm. And you were at a Special Olympics practice this
Yes,
morning
yes, for
before.
bowling. Yes.
Yeah, so you started early. Okay, all right. So can we go to the next one, which is out of the box?
Out
And
of the box.
if you want to give us a backdrop of that, that would be wonderful too.
So, out of the box came, it entered my mind and it entered my heart. Um, I believe it was last summer when I began cultivating all of these poems after becoming involved in athlete leadership for the Special Olympics. I began writing all these like rebel poems, I'll call it, where I claim being on the autism spectrum, but I claim it to not be anything sad or disheartening. I claim it to be empowerment. So I wrote this poem called Out of the Box, where I speak of, even though I don't actually mention being on the autism spectrum in this piece,
Mhm.
it's along the mindset of how you don't have to be a stereotypical person with autism. You can be out of the box and you can brand yourself as something totally different, which is one of the things that I have done. So, with that, I will leave you with this piece, Out of the Box. Out of the box. You can say that I'm out of the box. I'm different by design. I do things that would not align with the average. Who am I? I am me. It has just been so hard, although I decided to claim victory. Victory over my shortcomings, what I was told I would never be. I take pride in my differences that make me stand out. One of these days, I dare others to go ahead and scream out. This is what makes me different. I want to pave the way for those who are different and welcome them with open arms. I'm so out of the box. I refuse to be ignored. I am going to stand proud. I am out of the box and I will continue to push through the crowd. Thank you.
Oh, Amanda, uh, these words, your insight, your gift to the world just gets more and more profound. The impact is just phenomenal. And so, Amanda, what what would you say to someone? And I know and you know many people who are different in, in many ways
Of course.
and they don't own it. So what would you say to someone besides your beautiful work? What do you how do you tell them to own their uniqueness, own their difference, own themselves?
Right. I think that's just it.
Mhm,
Just, just just own it.
mhm,
Because if you don't decide to own it like I decided to own my autism, it's going to own you. And when it owns you, that's when the tables turn, and that's when I believe that society starts looking at you like, "Oh, here comes this person with autism. According to the documentation, this person's not going to be able to do this. This person's not going to be able to do that. This person's not going to be able to live independently." It's untrue. I mean, I've owned my autism for the past 7 years, 7, 8 years, and it's been one of the best things ever. I haven't always gotten along with my autism, but I owned it as early as I could.
mhm, mhm. And so I'm trying to get at, what does someone need to have? Do you have like a phenomenal support system, or are these just values? Not just, I should say, are they values? What that's instilled in you from family, from religion, from culture, from mentors?
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah, it's everything. It's a complete support system, and to
mhm,
me, I believe it starts in the home, And when your family supports you, you're able to take that support out into the world and bring that along with you, and then you hope that you have others who support you along the way, because definitely I can say, it really started with, my mom growing up, and, raising me to believe that I was capable of doing any and everything. It didn't matter if I did it incorrectly, do it anyway.
Mm,
And then really honestly just see what happens. I took swimming lessons and ballet lessons and learning to ride a bike, but I believe that those experiences, even though I was necessarily not that great at them, those experiences are what set me apart from just the average person who is diagnosed with autism and told to just go home and lay in a dark room and just watch TV all day because you're not going to end up doing anything else. So that really starts with the the family unit, the fact that my parents, my mother specifically, refused to take no for an answer. When I was born, the doctors, back in 1989 were saying, "Okay, well, she has hydrocephalus, she has this wrong with her, she has that wrong with her. What institution do you want to put her in?" And my parents were like, "None. We're going to take her home. We're going to raise her."
mhm. Oh my, what a lasting lesson. Don't take no for an answer. Don't create an artificial ceiling that you must try to break through. I love it. I wish one day I can meet your mom. One day. Um, so before we continue, some of our viewers may have just dropped in as you were reading, and were discussing your your art, uh, your creative work. Um, this is me, Paulina Van, and I host the show, The Poetry of Healing, and we're celebrating uh, Black Poetry Day. And my guest for this episode is the phenomenal, lovely Amanda. And she's been reading, she's just read a couple of her poems to us. And so they are inspirational. They ask us to be all that we can be, regardless of what the world says. Amanda does have some disabilities, intellectual disability, and is also diagnosed with autism. Given all that backdrop, she's an author, she's a renowned speaker, and she is a Special Olympic athlete at her greatest. And so I'm going to ask you, Amanda, to read the last poem that
Of course.
you have. And it's wonderfully made. Can you give us the backdrop?
Yeah, sure. So this was really interesting. So I was 25 at the time, and I was working a job I didn't particularly care for. The employers and employees at that time were they were treating me very unkind, and I was on my lunch break, and I was sitting in the um, common area alone, and I pulled out my phone and I just began to write these words, wonderfully made. And I attribute that to just God entering my heart in that moment, because I was incredibly depressed at this moment. And I think it's a beautiful reminder of how God makes us just wonderfully made in spite of what your medical diagnosis is. So here it is. Fun fact, this was actually the first poem that was actually published in my church in their bulletin. So I actually started writing church poetry after this poem was created. Here it is. Wonderfully made. I'm wonderfully made in God's eyes. Despite my flawed design, every flaw perfectly placed without hesitation. My eyes, they don't work well, but I'm wonderfully made. My ability to learn might be delayed, but I'm wonderfully made. My skin might be scarred, but I'm wonderfully made. My spirit might be broken, but I'm wonderfully made. My finances might be lacking, but I'm wonderfully made. My relationship might be suffering, but I'm wonderfully made. I'm wonderfully made in God's image, who made me that way. Broken, flawed, and scarred. As long as God carries me, my imperfections, they they don't matter. I'm wonderfully made in his sight. Thank you.
Oh, Amanda, there's a, I won't say it's scripture, but there's an adage, a spiritual adage that I often will use to uplift someone, and it is remember that you are beautifully made in God's sight.
Mm.
Um, and your poem just reminds us that each of us are unique, and we were made especially um, for with our uniqueness, and we all bring a gift to the world. We just have to recognize it and embrace it.
Of course.
I want to read something. I had two of my poems I wanted to read to you.
Perfect.
And one is It's Special. And for those of you who have my book, Regala Healing, it's on page 55. And I'm dedicating this to Amanda. It's special to look within. It's special to see where I've been. It's special as I transform. It's special I'm reborn. It's special my mystic mind. It's special my heart so kind. It's special hearing the words it brings. It's special when my soul sings. And Amanda, your soul sings. It sings just beautiful healing words to the world. And I want to leave you with this message. And I'm going to modify it a bit so that it's clearly to you. And for those of you who have my book, it's on page 23. And It's Amazing is the title. It's amazing to be filled with grace. It's amazing to have won the race. It's amazing the flow of your life, Amanda. It's amazing you have lost the strife. It's amazing how bright is your aura, radiating from your soul and letting everyone know, including you, that you are quite amazing. I just, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. So uh, I just thank you for having, after having practiced early this morning for your Special Olympic, that you were able to join us and share your beautiful work. And so after the program, I will drop into the chat your website and any other information that you would like to share with our viewers. Amanda, you are amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have just witnessed, experienced the creative gifts and inspiring journey of a young woman who defies all the odds and ceilings that at times are associated with persons with disabilities. I want to thank Amanda for sharing her gifts, her talents, her really spirit with us today as we celebrate Black Poetry Day. And so, as we close, I ask that you join me in a meditation that will help you and I to tap into our purpose, what brings meaning by focusing on awareness of those who inspire us. Okay, so it's a 2 to 3 minute meditation, and I hope that you will stay because Amanda has laid the foundation um, of purpose, of meaning, and how we can find this and solidify it or embrace it in our lives. So join me, stay with me for this. A meditation um, that will really tap into and illustrate our moral beauty. And what is that? Moral beauty are the values we hold most dear of those who inspire us to live up to our most precious values. So I'd like you to just settle where you are um, and begin just a relaxed pattern of breathing. And if you'd like, you can lower your gaze or close your eyes because that'll increase your focus um, as you breathe and as I guide you through this meditation. So let's begin. I'd like you to think of someone whose kindness, courage, strength, or character has moved you emotionally. Okay? Think about a specific moment when this person did something that moved you to feel inspired, just like Amanda did the last few minutes. What did they do to reflect kindness, courage, strength? Or what did they say to reflect kindness, courage, strength? Now that you have an image of this, notice what's happening in your body. Is there warmth in your chest? Are you beginning to just feel some happy tears? Just tearing up a little? Why does this matter to you? What is it about it that you find meaningful? What did this person teach you about how to live a meaningful life? What is that sense of purpose they have given to you? What can you do today in the midst of your busy life that is aligned with the sense of purpose this individual has inspired you to think about? And right now, today, perhaps it's how you treat other people, how you carry out your work and loving relationships. Think about what you can do today. Let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out as we end this practice. And let's move through the rest of the day or your evening, animated by this feeling when we think about the purpose that we get in our individual lives. And this is a meditation that I modified from the Happiness Breaks series. Okay, all right. So as we close, I ask you to join me every first and third Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's the regular time of this show. And I'd like you to like and share this program so you know other people can get this information. Listen to Amanda's beautiful, beautiful, inspiring poetry and just be encouraged and enriched. Leave comments. I do read and respond to your comments and your questions. And I'd like you to visit my site, Regala Healing, to learn more about my healing and self care work and resources. And I'm going to show you a QR code before the show ends. And I just want to thank you for joining Amanda and me today. And as always, I wish you love and light until I see you again. And so I'm going to put up the QR code.